right, hello everyone. It looks
Hi.
like we were able to make this thing happen. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. I am Jason McGinnis.
I'm Kristen Cubbage.
I'm Jeremiah Wood.
I appreciate everybody being here with us. We are here tonight to promote ourselves and to promote the 48-hour film project and the film that we have coming out this weekend. I'll get us started just by sort of telling us what the 48-hour film project is, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jeremiah and Kristen a little bit to have them talk some. So first of all, if you can't hear us, if the video gets bad for whatever reason, just send us a comment. You know what? Just send us a comment anyway, so we'll know you're there. We'll say hello.
Say hi, please, if you're here with us tonight.
And
we can chat.
So we're going to talk about the 48-hour film project, and what this is for the 48-hour film project. It's based out of Greensboro. It's a national event, but there's a Greensboro chapter, so to speak. A bunch of teams show up in Greensboro on a Friday night. We are given criteria to make a film. Every team draws a genre out of a hat, and then every team is given the same line of dialogue, the same prop, and the same. There we go. Everybody gets the same line of dialogue, the same prop. We lost Jeremiah. I was afraid of that. We'll get him back on. We get the same line of dialogue, the same prop, the same character. They all have to be used. All the teams have to show up in 48 hours to turn in a finished film. We turned in a film. It's called They Came With a Warning, and we're going to talk about it here in just a little bit. Let me get Jeremiah back on the line. We dropped him. This is our first time doing this, so bear with us just a minute. We'll see if he can get back.
Hey, Amber.
Man, I'm
Hey,
sorry.
girl.
No worries.
I'm sorry about that. So
We
I
got
was trying to block I had a call coming in. I was trying to block it.
we got you covered. So we just sort of went over what the 48-hour film project is, and I'm gonna start with Kristen and just kind of ask you, tell us about what you thought from the weekend. How was your experience? Just give us an overview of the weekend, and we'll sort of take questions or kind of go into detail.
I just thought it was a lot of fun, as it always is. Every time we get together and hang out, it's nice to be a part of something that has so many people that are passionate about filmmaking all in one spot to get together and to only have 48 hours to get something from script to screen, and then to see it come to fruition by the end of the weekend is pretty amazing. I'm saddened that we're not going to get together for the red carpet experience, but there are worse things in the world. It's a bit of a first world problem, but I am thankful that we get to share it with each of you, so you can kind of watch it with us from a distance, from wherever you are, from the comfort of your couch, and give us your feedback. I would love to hear what you think of it if you get the chance to watch it. This one was an interesting one. We've never been in a pool, and it was kind of nice to be in a pool because it was 90 degrees, perfectly sunny day, no clouds to hide under. Just to be able to kind of float around and rehearse our lines so much was a nice thing, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, tell us about your how was your experience for the weekend?
Man, I loved it. I'll tell you, every time Jason calls me and wants me to come down and help out, it's just, I know it's going to be something exciting. Yeah, it was an absolute blast, man, just to get to work with Kristen again, where you see where Jason's mind's at. Jason, I hate to brag on you, but you're brilliant, man. And just watching everything that you put together, the passion that you have, and then the passion that comes out with me and Kristen every time we've worked together, it's been an absolute blast. Man, I'm just glad it was during summertime, jumping in the pool at midnight. If it was in the following year, Jason, I might be mad at you. Yeah, it was an absolute blast, and just putting everything together. But you got such a short time to put everything together. And Jason is just brilliant at writing these little films, and then getting all the decorations together, and then getting mine and Kristen's feedback. We just put it together. We make it happen. But, man, it was awesome doing a night shoot. And maybe from now on we do everything at night.
Oh, yeah. You got to say that. You guys both mentioned that. I don't know whose idea it was to shoot a pool scene at night, but from a camera perspective, from a lighting perspective, that was a lot of work. I'd absolutely do it again because it worked, and we hit all the marks we were wanting to hit.
And just the three of us made it really hard. Like, here, you hold this boom mic while I hold the camera.
That's right. To sort of give everyone a little bit of context, we've done these 48 hours in the past with larger teams. Because of the virus, because of safety concerns, we were asked to keep a team to as minimal as possible. So I've worked with Chris and I've worked with Jeremiah a number of times. So that was the minimal. That's all we needed is the minimal. We worked with it and we went with it. But I'm telling you, shooting in a pool at night, we didn't leave till what, 1:30?
Yeah, maybe close to 2.
It was a long night.
Yeah.
For someone watching, if you're watching this and you're wondering why we're in black and white, it's not a problem with your phone. It's not a problem with our cameras. It is intentional to set the mood. Our film does take place in the late 50s, early 60s, where a lot of what you saw on TV, especially, and some of what you saw in film was still in black and white. So but to set that atmosphere, we're in black and white now to set that up. One thing I want to ask Jeremiah and Kristen about, in previous years in the 48, you're scrambling so hard, and I'm scrambling so hard to get people organized and things in the places where they need to be. We don't necessarily do a lot of rehearsal. You guys just kind of know your lines, and then we sort of shoot. With this one, we had a little more time to rehearse. I want to ask the two of you as actors, what did you think about the additional time that we spent rehearsing, and how you feel like that came out in the final product? Jeremiah, I'll kind of start with you.
I just now had another phone call come through. Sorry about that.
You're a busy man.
So we had plenty of time to rehearse, right? Man, that helped me out a whole lot better because we had all day. That's what I liked about the night shoot, is having all day to sit there, and all three of us, social distancing and going over lines over and over and over. Man, gosh, it's so much better when we can memorize everything. And then we talk about, all right, how are we going to be doing this? What's going to be the best at this? Because we got to make it as real as possible. And it don't take long, man. After working with y'all so long, it don't take long to make something come together. We jump right into character, especially what everything was based on and what your mind was to bring out. Man, we just, through the rehearsing, after knowing the lines, then we put the actions into place. And it just came together. It came together so fast on this one. I loved every minute of it.
So you say it came together fast. I think that when you're having fun, time flies when you're having fun. From the time we started rolling camera, it was still about 5 hours.
It still was, yeah. There's a couple times we checked and was like, well, this is kind of coming on through. Because there was one time you was like, we might get done just a little bit early. Then all of a sudden it was like,
no, that wasn't going to happen.
I get done early.
Kristen, what did you think about the additional rehearsal time?
I thought, I want to say hi to some people. There's some people on here with us. Kyle, hello. Ginger, Jessica. Someone said Jeremiah is the man. Mr. Snow. I just loved having that extra time, kind of before we've been so rushed and scrambled, and to have that time in the pool that morning and that afternoon to kind of go over it was it just made it feel. We've always been connected anyway. Jeremiah and I have acted together before, so we have that on-screen chemistry. So I think it just worked really well.
So you guys tell me, you've acted before. I know you've acted with me in some 48s. What have you guys done together?
Well, outside of with you with 48s, we worked with a wonderful lady named Julie. We shot a pretty good film together with that one. And we felt out, definitely Kristen helped me out with Jilted Bride. Me and Jessica shot it with Iris. Iris was the producer on that one. And so she helped out at class with that one. So we've done a lot of stuff together. So the theory is there as far as like on set. I think we're dynamite.
And then most recently, Split Second too, which has been admitted to 5 festivals now. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you mentioned Iris. Iris is the producer of the 48 Hour in Greensboro. She's the one that pulls all these teams together. She does a wonderful job. Greensboro is, there are hundreds of cities across the world who do these in any other year. But this year, Greensboro was the first one to sort of step out and give it a shot. Iris and the organization as a whole did a really good job of keeping us safe. Me as a director and as a team lead and the other team leads, we did have to take safety training. We went through an online course. We had to, take a test, get a certificate, show that we had passed it, to make sure that we were going to do everything we could to keep everyone safe during the shoot. And we did. We kept distances. That's one of the reasons we ended up at a pool, because I was trying to think of locations that could keep us safe.
Right.
And outdoor is always better. I came across this pool. This pool is my wife's parents' area, and we were out there swimming with the family one day, and I thought this would be a really good spot for a shoot. So that's kind of how that came about.
It's an awesome place to film and an awesome family. I loved being there. It was nice.
They were very gracious to host us. There's a couple things in our film that are unique, not the least of which is because it takes place in the late 50s, early 60s, we were able to find an old hot rod. It's technically a 62. I don't even know what the model is, but it's a 62, and that thing was beefed up. And Jeremiah, he got to sit in it and sort of feel some of the power. What'd you think about that hot rod?
Man, I love hot rods. 62 Nova, that's what it was.
Yes, yellow.
I did hot rods. I'd rather have an old car than a new car all day long, but when you get to sit down in something that somebody took as their prized possession, you definitely respect it. But something about American muscle, man, and just hearing.
I wanted to drive it so bad. He was so nice, Jim Sullivan.
Jim Sullivan.
Yeah.
He's a local neighbor. We put out some feelers on Facebook, and we found a hot rod. Just a quick scene to sort of set the mood and the time period, but we got it and got the shot in, and it worked.
He was so nice and masked up too. We were very safe with him because he's a veteran, so we could protect him.
Yep.
To see other people like that, though, you send out like a little bit of a message looking for somebody in the neighborhood with a hot rod, and somebody jumps right on it, and they're so nice.
Yeah.
So just to be part of the film, like, and just showing up. I don't know, man. It's just awesome. I love it.
Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Yeah, I definitely love the respect, that we go to people and they show back to us. And just, I don't know, everybody, if you just treat people nice, you just be surprised who wants to help out. And especially with, making a film come together. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. It's always great to have American muscle. So Jason, maybe another 48-hour film festival, we think about either, old hot rods, or I don't know, maybe we do some dancing or something. I don't know, but we'll come up.
Hey, we're gonna talk about dancing in a little bit. Kristen and I've already said that we're gonna save the talk about dancing till the end because that's our denouement. I really like the car. With the 48 Hour, you get you can draw any kind of genre. There's comedy, there's horror, there's sci-fi, there's suspense, and one of the genres is road movie. And we've actually done a road movie before. We kind of put a comedic twist on a road movie. But if we ever draw a road movie again, we might need to get ourselves a hot rod and cruise around something like that.
Hey, now my buddy Kyle, who was watching it a while ago, if he's still on there, he's got a Super Sport Camaro. So, so we might have to pull it out, lay some rubber down on the road or something.
Well, I'm sorry. He did just comment. Kyle just said if they love their car, they better not let Jeremiah drive.
Hey, Kyle needs to stay off the messages. He might just a little bit of dirt on me from back in my early 20s.
Okay, we might have to make friends with Kyle.
Yes.
So Courtney Inman's watching. Thank you for watching. She says she's excited to watch, and we're all excited for you to watch also. So one of the things I want to talk to you about is how you can watch. In a normal year, the 48 Hour takes place in every movie that gets submitted is screened in a theater, and it's a nice theater, the Carolina Theater in Greensboro. I mean, it is elegant.
Really old.
It's really old, but it's renovated. It's a big screen, great sound. So it's really cool as a filmmaker to make a film and have it shown on the big screen. So, you sort of feel like a movie star, and for that night, we sort of feel like we get to walk the red carpet, we get to dress up, and shake hands with everybody in the local industry. So that's a lot of fun. But because of the virus and because of safety, we couldn't do that this year. So this year the film will be screened online. So you don't have to drive to Greensboro to watch it. And if you look, so we're streaming on YouTube and Facebook. So if you're watching on my page or Jeremiah's page, you may have to follow the link back to Kristen's. But the link to get tickets to the film is in the description. It is $7 to watch, but you will get, I think there's 12 films in our screening, and I'll show you that in a little bit so you can kind of see what you're getting. But it's about 90 minutes worth of film. And then following that, there will be a Q&A with all the film directors, so you can ask questions, kind of get their feedback, their thought process on some of the films that they've made. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'll be there. I've got my tickets. We'll be watching.
And how neat is it to just kind of spend a Saturday afternoon, because it's Saturday during the day, starts at 2 o'clock, and just get to see all of these passion projects that people came together and made in 48 hours. I think it's really... I've always enjoyed sitting in the theater and watching it. Now I'm going to get to watch it from home. But just seeing all of the love and creativity that goes into each film, because everybody's drawing different genres. So you kind of want to know what someone's going to do with the musical genre, or what are they going to do with that Western genre. And just kind of how that all comes together on screen. And we each have our own... We each are given a prop and a line of dialogue and a character that we have to put in each film, so that you know that that film was created for this particular event. So it's really neat to see how everybody comes together and makes their films, and just kind of see that shine. It's going to be fun to hear your feedback. I can't wait to see what you think about this one.
Yeah, and it's good that you mentioned what those were, because we didn't say what ours were.
Mm-hmm.
So the props, or the elements that everyone was given, we had to use a character, and that character had to be named either Sydney or Sonia Lichtenstein. So that was interesting. We fit that in. We had to use a prop. The prop was toilet paper.
Very fitting.
Yeah, it's pretty fitting for right now.
Yeah.
Everyone should have a lot of that all hoarded up. So, we kind of went back and forth on how to use the toilet paper. Jeremiah sort of ended up with it. He could have been some ideas bounced around in my head on some other things we could have done with it, but we went with a pretty basic use of it. The line of dialogue that had to be used was, "I'm weirder than you think."
Ooh.
So, tune in, watch the film, and see who delivered that line. And then everyone had those elements, but each individual team drew a different genre. And the genre we drew was tragedy. And that's a unique genre.
Mm-hmm.
You can go a lot of places with it.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of a tragedy film, I think of something like Titanic or Armageddon, where these big disasters happen. We're local filmmakers on a shoestring budget. We don't have a lot of money to make these extravagant sets, or
Wouldn't that be nice, though?
oh, that would be nice. And
We'll do that.
We're getting better
Contact
with the
us.
green screen and the special effects, so
Yeah.
we might could destroy the world next year. So what we went with was sort of a tragedy as the backdrop. There's a tragedy happening across America, and how are these two characters dealing with it in their own personal space, and how does it affect them? That tragedy, without giving too much away, but it does involve an invasion of sorts that's spreading across the country, has the capability of infecting multiple people.
Sounds familiar.
That sounds a little familiar, but you'll have to watch the film to see exactly what it is. So Jeremiah, let me ask you this: of the films we've done in the past, how do you feel this one ranks up with some of the other ones we've done?
I think it's just right up at the very top, man. I like where you went with it. I like where your mind's at. I don't know, man. It's just the very first one. It'd be hard to beat the very first one. It's the first time I met y'all, and been able to put everything together. I think we had an absolute blast that night. But man, we've done several of these things now. I like every one of them, Jason. Just to be honest with you, I love every one of them. This one, I just liked it because it was at nighttime. We was in the pool, and we just absolutely had a blast with it. I mean, just a lot of laughs. I mean, most every other thing we've done has been very serious. And this one was serious too, but it seemed like it was very enjoyable making this one, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, I get it. Again, in the past, I've been really dark from the get-go. With this one, we started out really light, and we sort of progressed to the seriousness, and we had a lot of fun. I mean, through the whole thing, really, but the first half of this film was just a ton of fun to make.
Right.
So, Jeremiah mentioned when we met the film he was on. So, Jeremiah and I met. Kristen and Jeremiah have known each other for a while, and I'll ask you that in a moment. But when I met Jeremiah, we were doing a 48. Kristen and I talked about it. It was a horror 48, which means it was in October. It was for Halloween. All the genres were horror related, like slasher, zombie, vampire, all that kind of stuff. And the week leading up to the 48 hour, I'd had a team of 7 or 8 lined up that we had used before, but every day someone else would message and say, I can't make it, I'm not going to be able to do it. It was nothing. It ended up with me and Kristen, and I said, let's not do it.
You were ready to throw in the towel. I was like, we've got this. I'm going to get on the
I was
camera
ready to
and
throw in the
message
towel,
some people.
and Kristen wasn't going to let me. And she's like, I've got Jeremiah. We've talked. He's interested. Let's do it. And I was really doubtful. But we did it, and I'm glad we did. The 3 of us and my son Carter was in that one. And to date, that has been our most successful film that we did, Beware the Waxing Moon. It was a werewolf film. We did the transition scene and everything. Jeremiah, you had to sit in some makeup for a while. That was a lot of fun.
But I love that it was about domestic violence, too. That's an important issue that needs to be discussed.
Yeah.
Maybe we should re-release that for the moment.
That
just
was,
to share it again.
You know, my mind when we were writing that one was sort of, you know, I never want to hit anybody over the head with any kind of message, but if I can parlay that into a fun film, an escape of the film, and maybe afterwards you're thinking about it and you think, oh, I see how that sort of related to domestic violence. And it was about a man who would go out, and when he came back in, he was transformed in some way, maybe from drinking or being with buddies or whatever. When he'd come back, he would be violent with his wife, and that was sort of where he transformed into the werewolf, and that was a lot of fun to do that. Jeremiah, I think I never thought. I'm sure you never thought you'd be walking around in a werewolf mask as we shot, but you sure enough were.
When I got there.
But
I'm glad I did, man. I don't know. Yeah, it was just killer. You know, there's where I learned a lot of respect, because sometimes, you know, you'll get messages and you're just like, I just don't know if I want to try this. I don't know who these people are. And but then again, you just go with your gut. It's like, man, I'm going to go try it. And then once I met y'all, man, we become lifetime friends. And then seeing that side of the camera, because most of my life I've been on one side of the camera, not on the other, not on the production side. And seeing what magic you can bring and make happen, man. It was amazing to see it on the big screen. We went down to Greensboro and watched it and really seen how the film turned out. It was amazing.
Yeah. So, Kristen, what's your experiences with film, and we'll kind of talk about what you and I have done with the 48.
Well, so I moved to Wilmington when I was in my early 20s, and I was working in a mall there as a retail manager, and they filmed One Tree Hill there that day, and the director came in and asked if I wanted to be a part of it. So I got to be an extra in a half dozen episodes, and that's I've always kind of been into the film, desire to film, and that kind of started it for me. And after that, I started getting into other TV shows and movies as extras. And then, you know, we have a mutual friend, Miss Jessica Raby, who saw that, you know, I like to act, and Jason was making this 48, and so she kind of connected us that way so that we could kind of, you know, do the make-believe thing together and create films. And then I've always wanted to write and direct, so I got a chance to do that with Disconnected and work with some of my people on that. And then, you know, a couple other films, but we've done quite a bit together, Jason, and I think you're extremely talented, and I'm very blessed to know you. And it's just, I don't know, you just all are part of my film family.
Well, thank you. I'm getting some feedback that Jeremiah is echoing really bad, so I'm going to tinker with that a little bit, Kristen, so maybe not as loud for us in here. But that's all on me. That's all on me, Jeremiah.
What's he doing?
So yeah, that first film that you and I did together, yeah, we're catching Jeremiah while he's out of town for work, and so he's really going out of his way to help us out tonight. So that's kind of we got him in a little precarious position. But the first time Kristen and I met, we were doing blood relations, and that was it was a regular 48, but it was horror themed, and that was a lot of fun to shoot too.
I had to speak Russian in that one.
Kristen showed up, and I had never met Kristen, and we're sort of talking about our film, and she's like, "I think my character should speak Russian," and I was like, or with a Russian accent, and I said, "Yes, she should." So do that, and it turned out really well. We won for that film. We won Best Use of Character. I don't remember the character's name. But that was played by Haley Carter, who's wonderful. She's
tied up to the table. She was tied up on the table like dinner.
She was tied up on the table. She had a gag in her mouth. Her profession was a speech language interpreter, and she didn't say a word the entire film. And we pulled that off, and that was cool to see. And I miss Haley. I like working with Haley.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She is a really talented actress. The three of us worked with her, and Matt Waite. Was it last year or 2 years ago, for Knights of Bathory?
And he was there for Travel Mates, and he was there for Disconnected.
Matt was there for Travel Mates, and
we love Matt.
Haley was in that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a pretty robust film family that we sort of like to work with, and we do pretty well with.
So Virginia Travis, hello Virginia. She's asking, is this the only time available to see it?
So in that regard, I just got this information today. So if you get it at 2:00, you can watch it live with all of us, and you can watch the Q&A, and you can participate in the Q&A afterwards, which means you can ask questions and have the directors answer them for you live in the screening. You can also get it, and I don't have the links for this yet, but we'll find them. You can, if you purchase that screening, you can watch it as many times as you want for 24 hours. Again, it's not live. You're just watching the recording from the previous show and the previous Q&A, but you can get it anytime during that 24 hours.
So anytime starting at 2:00 on Saturday.
Yep.
I wanted to say hi to a couple more people. Linda Gates is on here, and that's my mother. And then, let's see, Paul Henley's my stepfather. He said Academy Award for Kristen. Oh, goodness. And I've got Amanda Wall and Vicki Wood. I think that's Jeremiah's mother. Hello, Vicki. And Corey Simmons. So I just wanted to say hi.
Yep. Hey, Corey, what's up, buddy?
Good. Oh, excuse me. So Kristen and I were talking about this earlier, and I'm going to ask you, Jeremiah, first, because I sort of know what Kristen's answer is. We talked about it. So being in acting, you've been a model kind of prior to when we started working together. As an actor, have you been able to take the experience you've gotten from acting and working with us? Have you taken that to your modeling career? Have you pulled that out and used it in anything outside of acting that we've done together?
Absolutely, man. With modeling, when I first got into it a long time ago, it was just all photo shoots, and then all of a sudden one day, what really got me broke in was I landed a Ralph Lauren job. And it was a big campaign for Ralph Lauren. Well, they shot a national commercial at the same time. And I started getting my feet wet with that part. So they was just basically like, be yourself, do your thing. But it was a lot of non-speaking. I don't know why. I mean, because listen to my voice, it's very professional, but and not country at all. But anyway, so that kind of started getting my feet wet on how to act. And then I started landing a lot of commercials through modeling, working with green screens, working with other people, and I kind of started learning that everything is. I started doing more better and landing a lot more things, just being myself and being natural. And then I landed my first speaking commercial, and I went and took voice classes, trying to tone down this country accent just a little bit, and I'm able to do it sometimes. Sometimes when I'm trying to be natural, you just hear country. That's me. But then I started working with you, and I took all of that experience that I used to know, just be yourself on camera, but a lot of acting classes and things I'm a very bouncy person. I got a ton of energy. So, and I used to get jumped on all the time when they was like filming me or something. It was like, can you stop shaking your head or doing something like that? So just taking little bits and pieces. But now working with y'all and through you, Jason, you know, landing a lot of speaking lines and then working with a lot of very good talent on speaking roles and things. It's just every time I go into a new role now, if it's a commercial, via video, whatever, everything I'm learning with y'all, that's what I take there. And it just helps me out. It definitely helps me out speaking, as far as like speaking and trying to knock this accent down just a little bit. But yeah, I've had a lot of experience, and y'all put it over the top. You and Kristen. Kristen's been a big help. I mean, just sitting there and just rehearsing the lines with her and just watching her act I learned a lot. I learned a lot from watching you act, Kristen, and Jason. I learned a lot from you. I like getting feedback. And once I get feedback, like we was talking Saturday, I was like, Jason, I want to know what's in your mind, what's in your head. And then when you tell us that, and then we try to make that come alive, it just makes it look even better on camera. Even though if it might feel a little bit awkward, it's still, when you get it on camera, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was around, I got a lot of experience when I was younger, but as far as acting, a ton of acting, started working with you, helped me out a lot. And then working with Julie and then working with Iris, it just helps even more. So
yeah.
I enjoy doing it. It's just, to me, it's a lot of fun. These 48-hour films is a lot of fun because you've only got like 2 days to put it together, the whole 9 yards. And I just like the whole scramble thing and trying to learn lines. But when you scramble like that and you have to learn lines quick, when you land bigger stuff, bigger films and bigger speaking parts, it makes it a little bit easier.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Andre Moore is on, and he says that your voice is your moneymaker.
You tell Andre, hey, he knows what he's talking about. He's been with me all my life.
Hey,
so.
I'm going to agree with Andre because, we've talked a little bit. You've asked me about your accent and is it going to fit into some of the films we've done, and I didn't want to change it. Especially if it's not something you've trained a lot on. I wanted Jeremiah just to be Jeremiah because Jeremiah is you're just as charming as you can be. My son, who's 14, just thinks the world of you. He lights up every time I tell him that Jeremiah's coming into town. So I just want you to be yourself, and I think the audience is going to react to that.
Hey, after watching Sweet Home Alabama like over and over, this country accent is okay.
I love that movie.
So Kristen, kind of over on your side, what are your thoughts on that? What you've learned from acting and what you've taken out of it?
I think that it probably is the other way around. I've been in so many different life situations. I've moved over 20 times. I've been the new kid in school 7 times. I feel like I bring a lot of that. I feel like I've been acting my whole life, basically. So I feel like I can pull some of that into the acting, but I definitely feel like these, like Jeremiah was saying, these practices of these 48 hours and things make you better for your auditions and, for things like that. Just being able to do a quick turnaround on stuff like that. So
good. And I would like to say, we're talking about acting and we're talking about experience. I'm just going to go ahead and say that Jeremiah has been on screen 1,000 times more than either Kristen and I, because Jeremiah was on Survivor and has plenty of experience being in front of the camera. And if you recognize him, that's probably where you've seen him. But
I tell you what, man, it's amazing though what I think I learned a lot. I think I know a lot, but then again, I get very humbled when I work with people like Kristen, or I work with people like Jessica, or some of the other ones. Matt Waite, I love Matt. He's my buddy. But I get humbled a lot seeing a lot of people how they truly act. Then I look in the mirror and I'm like, man, I'm nothing.
Oh,
I'm absolutely not. Now I'm being dead serious. And man, I just thank God that y'all are in my lives. And but it does humble me down because sometimes you can get out there like, why ain't I landing all these auditions? I'm doing the best and I'm knocking it out of the park, this and that. Then you come to realization when you watch other people act, you're like, wait a minute, they're way better than I am. So, I don't know. I just threw that in there. There's a little food for thought.
Well, we're all getting there. We're all learning. We're all hopefully getting better every time we do this.
First of all, Jeremiah, don't be so down on yourself. You're amazing.
Yeah.
And we all love you.
I'm not down on myself at all. I promise. I'm not a Debbie Downer. I don't get down. I don't get down on myself. It's just I see the truth like that, and I like bragging on other people because when they're very good, I'm going to brag on you, you know. And if you ain't good, I'm going to brag on you anyway. So, but yeah, I'm just glad that I've met y'all and got y'all in my life and been able to do this because it's helping friendships out and it's helping careers out too. So, I hope we continue to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll be 9 old.
We're gonna make a dancing film next.
Yeah, we're it's almost to the point in our timing that we're going to start talking about dancing. I do want to talk about Kristen. We talked about your credentials some and what you've sort of done. I want Kristen to tell everyone what she's been involved with and some of the projects she's been on because you may have seen her on camera as well or on the screen.
Well, I mean, like I was saying before, I've been in the background on some things like One Tree Hill, Iron Man 3, Righteous Gemstones was an awesome day of filming. I got to meet John Goodman and be his maid, and you know, having him say my name on screen, I'm just looking at him thinking, "You're Fred Flintstone. You know, you were in Coyote Ugly." Like this guy, he was so nice and sat and talked with me, and you know, just things like that. It's just been really nice to have those experiences and get to be on set with and see how the big the big wigs do it and the big budgets do it, and then bring it back to what I learned to put onto our small sets. So it's nice.
That's good. It's been cool to see Kristen on the screen and some of the stuff she's done. Now Andre's still giving you a hard time, Jeremiah. He's telling you that not to do any dancing, but I'm gonna go ahead and say, in this film that we're making that's coming out this weekend, one of the major selling points of it is Jeremiah dances in this thing. And
hey, Andre should know. He's seen me on the dance floor.
and Jeremiah's not just dancing a little bit. I mean, he goes after it.
So we were sitting there, you know, because we had that time to rehearse, and we were saying, you know, we need to look up some 50s dance moves. So he was looking up the 50s dance moves on YouTube, and we were trying to figure out how to do these dance moves, and he was making me laugh so much. That was probably one of the highlights of the weekend for me, was just seeing Jeremiah dance, and he went for it, I'll tell you that.
So one of the things I told both of you when we're getting ready to shoot, I say, turn it up to 11. I mean, give me more than you think you can give me. And Jeremiah did. And I'll be honest, I didn't expect him to do that. When he started to dance, I thought we were going to have to coax him. I thought we were going to have to take 3 or 4 takes to keep getting him to up it and up it and up it. But we didn't. I mean, from the first take, we did 8 or 9 rehearsals through the dance scene, and he just jumped in at 100% from the get-go.
I tell you, man. Hey, Kevin Bacon don't have anything on me.
He's got some moves. We're making Footloose 2 here. I tell you what.
I landed. I've never been a dancer. I can't dance a lick. Andre's telling the truth. I can't dance a lick.
I don't believe it.
I had a good friend that was on. She was on an earlier season of Survivor. Her name is Kristen Cora, and she taught me how to do the country 2-step. And I was like, what in the world? I can't dance. I can't move. But I learned that down pat. And there was one day I had a Belk audition for a big national Belk commercial, and they wanted a dance and video. I said, oh, no. And so so I called one of my good friends up, and me and her did the country 2-step, and another friend filmed it. I landed the commercial. I'm like, I'm a dancer. I can do it. So, and the commercial had nothing about dancing. It was just about shoes. But yeah, so, and then I did a little birthday dance this year and mimicked John Paul, and I was like, I've got the moves. I just got to have the confidence. And then got this video, and Jason was like, turn it up to 11. And I'm like, hey, baby, I can bring it.
Yeah, you brought it. So you got some fans. So Christiane, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Christiane Russell, she wants to see a preview of these dance skills.
Yes, please.
She's not. Kristen is going to make fun of me the whole time, so she's not seeing no dance moves.
And Andre Moore, I think both of them are definitely going to be getting a ticket to see this premiere on Tuesday because they want to see you dance.
I just wish I had 2 minutes of dancing. If we could have just took the whole 48 hour and just let me really show you what I had, Jason.
We could have made a 6-minute film of Jeremiah dancing.
Yes, and then thrown some toilet paper in there and called it a day.
Hey, it would have been a comic for real.
It was a good time. We had a good time. So if anybody's got some questions, so one of the things that the Q&A that they're doing this year, in normal years, we all go up on stage, and usually Kristen and I go up together, and we sort of field some questions, and everybody, all the directors are on stage at one time. You can ask a question to anybody at any time, but this year, the directors and the team leaders are all cycling through. You'll have 4 at a time, and then one person will leave and another person will enter in. And I don't really know how that's going to go. We're all sort of learning and figuring out how things are going to work in this new, so to speak. So I don't know how it's going to be or not. But if you feel like asking us a question now, we'll be happy to answer it. I would like to encourage everyone to please buy a ticket, support your local artists, support this organization, this 48 hour, the $7 that you're paying for a ticket, it doesn't go to us. It goes to the 48 hour crew to help them produce more events like this, to reach more filmmakers, to inspire more young artists to become the big blockbuster artists of the future. It's an organization I really like, I really support. And also, if you buy a ticket, you get to vote for your audience favorite. And of course, we would love it if you were to vote for us as well, because winning audience favorite would certainly be a treat.
And it's only $7 for the screen that you're using for your entire family. You can't go to the movies for $7 for your entire family, so it's hopefully not too much.
One thing I do want to show, and my screen's going to probably weird out here for a minute. I wanted to show you the films that are going to be in there. Let me find it. There we go. Almost there. Yeah, so let me get this over on the screen.
Clooney, they had to chop my hair off.
I was just informed that we could not be heard over when I was showing the film list, and that makes perfect sense. Thank you to my wife Amber for letting me know that. So sorry about the silence. I'll pull that down. Just wanted to let everyone see what the films are that are going to be out there. So if surely one of those genres or titles, you can find something in there that I think you would like. So there we go. We got that off the screen. But
Jason, you want to tell them how long the films last, or you might? You might have already said.
So each film has to be at least 4 minutes, and it cannot be any longer than 7 minutes. So in total, you're looking at about 90 minutes worth of entertainment. If you don't like something, it's probably going to be over in about 6 minutes.
Oh.
So.
But it's still so nice to go there and just watch, or not go there, but be at your house and support these local filmmakers that put their effort in for the weekend.
Right.
It's really nice to see that. And I'm so thankful for Iris Carter and all of her paving the way for everyone. She's the first Greensboro is the first festival to be held in the nation, and she's got a lot of work to do, kind of laying the groundwork for that. So we're thankful to you for that, Iris. Thank you.
Iris is the best.
Mm-hmm.
I love Iris.
Yeah, she puts in a lot of work, especially now being the first producer to do one of these in the country, working out the kinks. There were 25 teams that logged in Friday night to kick this off and get started. Of those 25, only, if I remember the numbers correctly, only 23 of them submitted a film. 2 of them just bailed in the weekend. They didn't even make anything. They didn't turn it in.
A couple disqualified.
Of those 23, 3 of them were not on time. They came in late. So that just kind of goes to show you just how difficult it is to put together a film in 48 hours. It's a lot of work, and a couple teams didn't pull it off. And then Iris told us again, she sent out an email, there were 2 teams that did not use the character properly. And by properly, the rules are very loose around these characters, but you do have to show them on screen. They can't be a character on the telephone that someone's talking to and just refers to. They can't even be a voiceover. They do have to be physically on screen. So there are 18 teams that made it in that will be
split into 2.
They're split into Group A and B. Now I did just show Group B. We're on we're on Saturday at 2.
Right.
Group A is on Friday at 7 p.m. I think. Now I don't have the link for that group in here, but you can find it if you search for the 48-Hour Film Project Greensboro. You can find it. You can purchase tickets to that as well if you want to see some more of these.
Yeah. I think it's awesome to see all the films and to kind of see what people came up with for different things.
I do too. And what they do is, of those 18 films that are eligible, they do get voted on by a panel of judges. So they'll give awards like Best Actor, Best Actress, of the elements, best use of line of dialogue, best use of prop, best use of character, best director, best editing. They'll usually give a best special effects, and then they always give a best film for the evening. So that's always the coveted prize we hope to win. And after they do that, we have an award ceremony in a normal year where we all go to the theater. We have another red carpet event. We get caught up on stage. We receive a prize. It's really glamorous. It's a lot of fun.
And how would someone, if they're watching right now and they want to get involved in that with their own team, how would they go about doing that?
So check out 48hourfilm.com. That's where most of the information is going to go. From there, you can find a local chapter, for lack of a better word. You can find a local place where you can go do it. Greensboro is the one we go to the most. There's one in Asheville that's coming up in October. There's another one in Charlotte. I don't know the dates on that one. There are films in here that people make with their cell phones.
Yes.
You don't have to be a professional, and we're not professional. We're just kind of people who enjoy doing it. There are some professionals who'll be in there. You can really tell they have a lot of production quality. But there are people with just their cell phones acting silly. They maybe edited it on iMovie, but they're just having a good time, with some people who all share a like interest. So it might, if you're interested in that, be sure and check them out. It's a really good program. I've really enjoyed it. This is my 8th one. And
this is nationwide too, so you can find it wherever you are.
That's right. Yeah. This is my 8th one that I've done. I think Kristen, you and I did the math. This is what your
4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, who knows?
4th or 5th. Jeremiah, is this your 3rd one that you've done with us?
Let's see. Rekindling, this one, that one going on 4. I've done 4 with you.
You've done 4, okay.
Now, it wasn't, one of them wasn't a 48-hour. We put it in a...
Right, that's right. So that was kind of interesting. When we had just written a short film, I'd written it, and we shot it in 48 hours. It wasn't part of the 48-hour project. We just shot it over a day. That was called Rekindling. That's right. I'd forgotten about that one. That was an all-day event, too, and this stuff wears you out.
Nicholas Sparks type.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen that one, you need to pull it up on YouTube. That's a very good film. Very, very good, I think.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it, but Kristen said it right. It is a very Nicholas Sparks style film
Yeah.
with maybe
A
just
little sadness at
maybe
the
with
end.
a little touch of some sadness at the end, but it's a happy sadness, so nothing to get you down with. Jeremiah,
Absolutely.
you got a buddy, Corey Simmons is online. He graduated with you. He's proud of you.
Yeah,
Aw.
he's a good guy. Great guy. I love
Hey,
Hey,
Corey.
Corey.
Christian Silver, you're asking about.
Oh, he said, "Wow, my school's friend's father is a movie producer." He's talking about you, Jason.
I don't know about all
Hey,
that now.
Christian. Hey.
So he's asking about what movie this is. This is a movie we did last weekend for a 48-hour film project. It premieres Saturday at 2 p.m. You can find a link to the tickets in the description of this video, of this live stream.
And that's this Saturday at 2, so it's not 48 hours from now, right?
It's less than 48 hours from
Yeah.
now.
Good one, Kristen.
Hey, I just got a message. I just checked the YouTube site, and Marsoc Commanding General, he asked what it's like in Granite Falls. It's pretty awesome here in Granite Falls. We're a little small town, close-knit community. Now, Kristen and I are in Granite Falls, but Jeremiah, you're over in Dobson. You drive in for a couple hours to hang out with us.
Right. Yep, it's worth every mile.
We love our small towns and
Yep.
awesome
Yeah.
people.
We got football flights here in my town. We're getting big.
Oh, you're
We got a
getting
sheets.
Got some awesome people on here right now.
Yeah. It's been a good little live stream. I appreciate you guys. Ronnie Bledsoe, he's pulling for you.
I appreciate it,
Yeah.
Ronnie. He's a cool friend. He's him and my daddy are good friends, and yeah, I appreciate all the support, man. I've got a big support group, which y'all do too. That makes a difference, man. Honestly, that gives me the drive to keep going and going, because I'm trying my best to make everybody happy and proud of me. So we'll see what happens. What's going on, buddy? How you?
We've been
Good.
so
Good.
blessed to have such an amazing support system with each of you. So I just want to say thank you personally to each of you, even though I've never met some of you, and some of you I have met. I just am truly appreciative of all the love and support that you give us on our little adventures.
Yeah, and big thanks to our spouses, Amber McGinnis and Phil Cubbage. They do a lot to allow us to go out for these weekends where they have to sort of manage the house by themselves, so we can go out and do something a little fun. Amber brought, she was our craft services sort of. She brought us our food for the evening. So a big thanks to them too for
Yes,
supporting
yes.
us and allowing, giving us the opportunity and the ability to step away and be gone for a weekend.
We even got my daughter involved this weekend.
We did.
Did a little Evelyn Ravencroft. I don't know if you've met her. She's my immortal sister that flies in every once in a while. And we got my daughter in a little short film that morning. We took advantage of Jeremiah being in town and made a little extra feature that you might see later.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
One of the benefits, one of the downsides of shooting in a pool late at night was we stayed up really late. But one of the benefits was we had our entire morning free, and we had Jeremiah already coming in town. If we could either sit around and not do anything with him, or we could take advantage of that time. So we had a couple other little stories we'd been wanting to tell that we threw some makeup on and started to shoot some of that while we had Jeremiah here, and turned out well. Jeremiah's
Yeah, it turned
chugging.
out
I hope
great.
you're chugging some Sundrop, man. Oh, Pepsi.
Oh, Corey, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to keep him straight.
It's
Oh.
a Diet Pepsi. I don't want nobody to think that he's he's doing something he shouldn't be.
What are you doing, Jeremiah?
We're
Oh,
just-
okay.
It's all right, man. You're an adult. You can have it.
Hey, I just did a Pepsi commercial yesterday.
So
I can't see the
I didn't-
comments.
What do you say, Kristen?
I just did a Pepsi commercial audition yesterday.
How did that go?
It went well.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Did you land? Or,
Oh, I
yet?
don't know yet. No.
Hey, you'll get it.
My mom says
You'll land it.
Indy misses me. Oh, I'm sorry. I miss y'all too. I wish this virus didn't keep so many people apart. I would love to come home and see everybody.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon everything will get back. So that's what we're praying. on and back to normal life so we can hug some people, you know? I'm a hugger.
Yeah. It would be nice to get back to that. Somebody said something about. Let me go on here. And
Sorry,
find
I
it.
got you right here.
Yes,
I'm bouncing
please.
around to some of the
I
comments we
can't
got
see
coming
the
on.
comments. Christian asked Jeremiah. The main question is Jeremiah at the carp pond right now?
Carp pond. Yeah.
Are you fishing?
I do a lot. I love fishing. That's my hobby. And now my dad and my brother, they do way more carp fishing than I do. But yeah, I've seen Kristen a couple times there with her friends. So yeah, need to be going this weekend. But I've got films to watch, so I'm not fishing this weekend.
There you
Right.
go. There you
You're
go.
busy on Saturday, at least for a few hours.
All right, Jeremiah, we've been at this for an hour. I know Jeremiah's got a long day. He's got a lot of work left to do, and he took time out of his day to spend an hour with us, and we really appreciate it, Jeremiah. Really thankful for you. Thankful for your friendship. Appreciate you coming
Absolutely.
in for this. Thank the world of you, man. So we're going to wrap it up. If you guys have anything you want to say maybe before we go, and otherwise we'll see everyone on Saturday.
Absolutely, man. I'm just excited. I'm excited about it. I'm excited every time we work together and excited to see the finished product. You know, I've seen a little bit of it, what you've sent, but I can't wait to see the finished product because you're an amazing guy. And Kristen, it's awesome. Always it's awesome working with you. Jason, awesome. I love y'all to death. Got a lifetime friendship with y'all. And everybody who's watching, check us out. I appreciate all the support. Everything that we do, continue to support us because all three of us are continuing to audition and do everything that we can. So we'll see what happens. And in life, keep your eyes on us. We might be going places.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for both of you. You all have been so amazing, and for all of our film family that couldn't be there, and for some of the people that have just always been so supportive, like Julie, we love her, and Iris, and so many other amazing, talented people. Philip, Len, who I absolutely adore. I'm just so thankful for the two of you and getting to have spent this weekend together outside of this virus and got to get a hint of normal for a moment, and getting to see your faces and dance a little bit. That was fun. And I'm just so thankful for everybody who's been so supportive throughout this. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I am so thankful that you all are so supportive and loving and well, and I don't know. I've said it a million times. I just want to say thank you.
It looks like our Facebook stream dropped a little bit, so we may be off there.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I hope to see you on Saturday. Jeremiah's going to show us his dance moves.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
All right. See you, everyone. Thank you all.
Thank y'all.